What's going on, everybody, and welcome to TCN Rundown Week 14 of 2023. I'm your host, Jay Stu, and we got quite a bit to talk about. Gonna go ahead and get right into it. If you're joining me for the chat, welcome. Please feel free to drop your comments in the chat. I would love to discuss this week's news with you, but we're gonna go right into it. So, as you can see, the first headline that we have today is the first trailer for Blue Beetle, and it looks fantastic, in my opinion. If you haven't seen it yet, please go check it out. We get a good look at the suits. It's not necessarily a story trailer just yet. They do give us a little bit of the story, but not a whole lot, which is good. Of course, you don't want to spoil everything, at least not in the first trailer. But we get a good look at the suit, and I must say the suit looks excellent. We did get those early looks last year of the set photos of the suit, but this time we get to see the suit in context, a little bit in context, and get to see a little bit closer to the final product, and it looks amazing. It actually looks fun. It looks funny, and I've heard some reports that they are going to fold Blue Beetle into the DCU. So I'll definitely be keeping you guys updated on that. But yeah, I really like the trailer. I hope you guys liked it. I know DC is in some shaky ground right now, but this does look like a good sign of things to come. As you guys know, they did. This was supposed to be an HBO Max exclusive, but they were so happy with the product and so happy with the production that they decided to make it a theatrical release. And I am very happy that they did that because, like I said, it looks pretty good right now. So, yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's really good. We also get our first trailer for Secret Invasion. That also looks pretty good. It was described as being a Cold War espionage story for Nick Fury. We get the return of Nick Fury, as well as the reveal of who Amelia Clark's character is. She is the daughter of Ben Mendelsohn's character in Captain Marvel. Let's see. We got some people in the chat. Hope you addressed the last line in the trailer that they can't help themselves. What was the last? Like, was that the last line? I can't remember what the last line was. I only watched the trailer once. It was awesome, but I can't remember exactly what was said. If you remember, please drop it down in the comments for me. Let's see. I don't like to watch trailers, rather go in cold, but I am excited for Jaime on the big screen. Seeing a bit of hate about the suit, and I don't get why. You know what? Always Never. I don't blame you. For a while, I stopped watching certain trailers. I would only watch the first trailer just to get a vibe for the movie, and I wouldn't watch any trailers after that. But lately, I have been watching more trailers. I do understand that. I believe me, they spoil a lot in these trailers, especially for the big superhero spectacle movies, because they're trying to get people in. They're trying to draw in the general audience. Of course, us nerds are going to go see it. You know, you don't need to show us 3 or 4 trailers, but for people like my mom and people that aren't necessarily into stuff like that, I can see why they do that. As far as the suit, I don't understand why people are hating on the suit. I like it. It looks really good. And that's another thing. The CGI in the trailer looks awesome. I know Marvel has been getting a lot of flack for their visual effects. DC has not had that problem much lately. I mean, there are a few things here and there. You could talk about Shazam: Fury of the Gods, but I think as a whole, the visual effects, DC's winning that battle right now. And with the release of this trailer, it looks like it's going to be pretty good. But getting back to the Secret Invasion trailer, it looks pretty good. Like I said, it was a Cold War espionage type feel for Nick Fury, and I'm very happy with what I saw. It looks like we might get Super Skrull in this show, so I'm definitely excited to see that. But yeah, it looked like it's going to be a good summer for superhero films. Let's see what we got next up here. Go ahead and slap that like button if you're still in here. Oh, of course. we got the Batman. They recently announced that Clayface will be a big part of the Batman Part 2. Clayface is one of my favorite characters, or one of my favorite villains um, in the Batman universe, the Batverse. And the Batman Part 2 is definitely looking to get a little bit weirder. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. It was also announced or revealed that uh, Mike Flanagan, who was one of my favorite directors, Mike Flanagan had also pitched an idea for a Clayface solo film. Although his take on Clayface would have been a little bit different. He would not have been a villain, but he would have been more of an anti-hero type character, making him a little bit more sympathetic. I personally I'm not crazy about that idea, although I really love Mike Flanagan and I think he would have made a great movie. I'm not crazy about the idea of Clayface being a hero, even though he is sympathetic already as a villain. So I'm very glad that personally, I'm very glad that they're not moving forward with that project, at least as of yet. Is this going to be the Carlo Clayface? That's a good question. I am not sure. I was wondering whether they were going to do Basil Carlo or what is the guy's name? Hagen. I think that's his name. I wasn't sure. I'm not, and I'm still not sure. But I will keep you guys updated on that. But I'm very glad to see that Matt Reeves is getting into a little bit of the weirder, more obscure villains. I noticed a lot of outlets calling him a B-list villain. I wouldn't necessarily call Clayface a B-list villain, maybe A minus. A villain that I would love to see in the Batman Part 2 or Part 3 or whatever is Professor Pig. Now that is a B-list villain, but I think he is perfect for the Batman and Matt Reeves universe. Definitely has that serial killer vibe, which Matt Reeves is definitely going for. I think he would pose a more gruesome type villain for that universe. Let's see what we got here for the next headline. We got. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Sung Jin from Beef will write the script for the Thunderbolts. I am pretty excited about that as well. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Beef, and I'm not familiar with his work. However, the plot of Thunderbolts sounds interesting. We know that Sentry will be in the movie, played by Steven Yeun. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think that's the thing that I'm most excited about, to see Steven Yeun in the MCU. He says, thought that would be perfect for the universe. I like your thinking. See, great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty excited for the Thunderbolts. Not overly excited. I'm interested. I'm very optimistic about it. I know that Marvel has had a lot of misses lately. Not a lot of misses, maybe like half misses, but it's been a lot of inconsistency in Marvel, and hopefully the tables will turn soon. Hopefully it'll turn in the right direction soon. But he's Sung Jin has been hired to do some rewriting because they already had a script. I'm not sure who did the original. Let me see here. This is coming from Variety. It's a Variety exclusive. Let's see. It's taking on the writing duties for Marvel's upcoming Thunderbolts. Lee has previously written for Tuca and Birdie, Dave, and Silicon Valley. Thunderbolts will be his first writing credit on a produced feature film. He says, I'm rewriting it. It's the whole squad again. Jake asked me if I would come on board. I probably should have taken a break, but there's a lot of themes and exciting things about the movie that I couldn't help but sign on. So yeah, that does make me feel a little good that he's very excited and very excited about the themes of the film. It does worry me a little bit that he thought he probably should have taken a break. I don't want this to feel rushed in any way. So please take your time, make a good story, because Marvel with their stories as of late have not been great. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm one of the few that liked Ant-Man Quantumania. Um, I like Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I thought those were decent stories, but it's some other stories that's a little bit convoluted and all over the place. So please take your time and make a good story. Marvel needs to get back to good, consistent storytelling. We absolutely need that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, we need that in superheroes in general. There is a little bit of superhero fatigue, but I think that's more of uh, just mediocrity. James Gunn said something similar to that on IG earlier. Is that there is superhero fatigue is very real, but it comes from a place of not putting out quality content. Some of the spectacle stuff gets a little bit boring, so I have to agree with that. We got another headline. This one is coming from Deadline, and that is the return of the cast of Scott Pilgrim. That's right, you heard it here. The cast of Scott Pilgrim will be returning in an animated series. I believe it's going to be an anime. Let me confirm that really quick. Hey, Netflix orders new anime series based on Scott Pilgrim original cast from 2010 movie to voice. Yes, Sarah will lend his voice to the new series of Scott, a member of the garage band who falls for a gal named Ramona, of course. Other actors will be lending their voice is Satya Baba, Kieran Culkin, who was one of my favorite characters in the movie, Chris Evans, who was my favorite character in the movie, um, Anna Kendrick, Brie Larson, Allison Pill, Aubrey Plaza, Brandon Routh, Jason Schwartzman, Johnny Simmons as young Neil. You knocked the highlights out of her hair. And Mae Whitman as Roxy and Ellen Wong as Knives Chow. So it looks like everyone will be returning for Scott Pilgrim. That makes me very, very happy. The fact that they got literally everyone to return only says that the story must be good. It must be something worth coming back to if they got everybody to return. And that usually doesn't work out, especially for casts that big. So that means somebody cleared their schedule to be a part of this thing, which makes me feel very, very good. I hope they do the entire series, the prequel prequels, I guess shows. The prequel shows were so fun. I've never seen them, but I have to take your word for it. Drop a link. Let me share that with me. I'd like to see that. But yeah, like I said, it makes me very, very happy that everyone is returning. It is definitely a good sign of some good storytelling. Let's see who is actually developing this thing. Is it Universal? Doesn't say. It doesn't say. But it will be on Netflix. Netflix will be the distributor for that. Oh, shorts, the prequel shorts. Okay. All right, we're gonna move right along. There was one more thing. Oh, yeah. And Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is he has announced his last film, which is going to be, come on. This is coming from Discussing Film. Come on. Huh. Okay. Let's go back. Bear with me, guys. All right, this is coming from discussafilm.net. And he says, we have learned that Clint Eastwood is beginning to close in on directing what is being internally billed as the last film of his career after decades of starring in classic pictures and directing over 35 of his own. I had no idea he directed 35 movies. Wow. Um, he's actually an underrated director in my opinion. I really loved American Sniper. That's a hard watch though. Uh, it's a good movie, but it's also a one-time watch. Um, I haven't seen Crime Macho. Haven't seen Invictus. I did see Gran Torino. Gran Torino is a pretty good one. But yeah, he's directed his last movie. He's had a career over 50 years. Man, it's Clint Eastwood, man. I mean, come on, you know. Article also goes on to say that speaking of Crime Macho, the Wall Street Journal reported that Discovery acquired Warner Media. New president and CEO David Zaslav grilled in-house executives on the making of that film, among others, which flopped at the box office. So Zaslav was pretty upset with the handling of Crime Macho, as you know, as well as other films, mainly the DC films, of course. We all know how that played out. But that about wraps it up for this week's rundown. We have some pretty good news this week. If you, like I said, if you haven't seen that trailer for Blue Beetle, please go check it out. It's great. It is refreshing to see something really good come from DC and not have a feeling of worry about it. And I'm very happy that they're going to be folding that into the upcoming DCU proper. Let's see, Scott Pilgrim versus the animation. I will check that out. Thank you, always, never. I appreciate you. Yes, 35 films. That's what I said. I had no idea he directed that many films, man. I got to catch up on my Clint Eastwood filmography. But like I said, thank you for joining me for this week's rundown. Please subscribe to the channel, slap the like button. As always, join me next week, Monday at 9 o'clock for next week's rundown. We definitely got some big news to talk about. I know like a couple hours before I got home, there was the whole WWE UFC thing. We're going to talk about that next week as well. So stay tuned for that. But as always, thank you guys. I appreciate you. But remember, stay nerdy, my friends.